Fox Sports.
We are Black Horse. We are Florida.
On to Milwaukee. The road trip continues for the Marlins. A three-gamer starts tonight on a Friday night. Miller Park open for business. Some tailgating going on out there. It is one of the best, actually it is the best in Major League Baseball. Got some old school Marlins. And of course you got the Brats. We may be out there before this one is done. And the Marlins and the Brewers meet for the very first time. Hi everybody. Welcome to Milwaukee. Rich Waltz along with Eduardo Perez. The Marlins are on a high on the field, and that's coming off of a 4-game sweep in Los Angeles. It's a 5-game winning streak, but the euphoria of that ended suddenly last night when the team got back to the clubhouse in Dodger Stadium. Dee Gordon suspended 80 games for violating Major League Baseball's drug policy. Eduardo, shock is probably the best way to describe the clubhouse scene last night.
Without a doubt, that is. Everybody that heard the news, it was all about shock. Last person you would think would be Dee Gordon, and that's exactly what happened. Everyone has to be tested. That's the reason why.
And Dee Gordon suspended. He dropped his appeal last night. That's why it was announced after the ball game. The Marlins' reaction was very swift. President David Sampson of the ball club met the media immediately following last night's game.
It was announced about 3 minutes ago that Major League Baseball has suspended Dee Gordon for 80 games. Dee Gordon is a very important part of our team, and we all love him and support him. That said, I do not like or condone what he did. He is an important member of this organization and will be for many years to come. It is a huge, huge disappointment to the kids, to our fans, to his teammates, and to everyone in our organization who works hard every single day to put a product on the field and off the field that all of Miamians can be proud of. He will be back 80 games from now, and he will be welcomed back to this organization. But in the interim period, we expect him, and we are positive that he will do whatever is necessary to make it up to our fans, to his teammates, and to this organization.
So I guess, Eduardo, the question is, moving forward, how do his teammates keep going what the Marlins have started in this 5-game win streak without him for 80 games?
Well, the first thing they have to do is who's ever filling in the leadoff spot, who's ever filling in at second base, shouldn't try to be Dee Gordon. They have to be themselves. If it's Derek Dietrich, whoever it is, Rojas, if it's Prado moving to second base, giving Johnson an opportunity at third, it doesn't matter. Whoever it is has to be themselves. If they start trying to be him, that's when they get in trouble. It's about unity now. They have to do the little things right, move the runners over, bunt sometimes when they're not told to bunt. Just do it for the sake of getting that run and putting pressure on the defense.
Now, Gordon had some moments in this 5-game win streak, but the feeling from coaches and players was the wins in Los Angeles and the win in San Francisco was a team effort. Everybody contributed, and you have to look at the pitching as well.
You have to look at the pitching, and it all started actually with the guy tonight that's throwing, Conley. He did a great job establishing that first strike. Hitters really struggle off that, and also the bullpen did a wonderful job taking pressure off them. When you're able to do that as a team, as a pitching staff, you're giving your offense a chance and you're giving your team a chance.
You heard from David Sampson, Marlins team president, as you see the bullpen on their way out here at Miller Park. Tonight, Michael Hill will join us in the second inning, the Marlins president of baseball operations. Adam Conley takes aim at the Brewers coming up. spring, well, it hasn't quite sprung here. A chilly day. Now the roof is closed. It's a little warmer here inside as the Marlins get set to take on the Brewers. Adam Conley, who's pitched better than his numbers would illustrate, and this streak started with the Conley start in San Francisco. And so Conley will take the mound. Zach Davies goes for the Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers just dropped 2 games in Chicago against the hot Chicago Cubs. Of course, the Marlins, their first ever sweep in Los Angeles, and that's of any series. And the Marlins made it a 4-game sweep. Add on that Conley start in San Francisco, and you've got a 5-gamer going on with brats and tailgating and beer and Brewers and Marlins. Game 1 coming up. Marlins baseball and Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Bank United. Switch to Bank United today. Visit us at bankunited.com or call 877-779-2265. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Fonz is ready to go. Are you ready for baseball? Hey, he is. Marlins and Brewers. Ichiro is in the leadoff spot. The Marlins lineup, of course, tweaked after last night. And it's brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine, Mr. Eduardo Perez.
Well, you started already with Ichiro, so might as well go to the hottest man on the planet. Martin Prado right now swinging it well. Christian Yelich in the 3rd spot. Marcell Ozuna. 5 home runs in this ballpark. Let's get some more. Then Justin Bour. Derek Dietrich in 2nd base hitting .321. Miguel Rojas. Jeff Mathis, and on the mound, Adam Conley.
The Brewers will counter with Zach Davies making his 3rd start. He has a couple of AAA starts this year as well. And we're underway at Miller Park. Ichiro in the box, and a fastball zips outside from the native of Mesquite, Arizona. 6 feet tall, just 155 pounds. And Ichiro pulls a ground ball into right field for a base hit. And Miami off to a good start. Ichiro's 9th hit of the season. He's now 9 for 26. He will not be the permanent spot as far as a leadoff hitter goes. But for tonight, he gets his shot.
It's a good start. Ichiro back at home leading off. See how many hits he has so far in the season. 2,944.
56 to go to 3,000. Now here is Martin Prado. The Marlins arrived in Milwaukee around 6:15 this morning. Got to the hotel around 7 a.m. Ichiro's at first. As a result, after that late night in Los Angeles last night, Don Mattingly resting 3 regulars, 3 right-handed bats. Giancarlo Stanton, the most substantial of the bats. But JT Realmuto's hot. He gets the night off. Adeiny Echeverria is off as well. And for Stanton, this is a little bit of an uneasy place. This is the first time he's been in this building since he was hit in the face back in 2014. And Prado takes a ball, and it's a ball and a strike. Prado has been just terrific with the bat this year. The Marlins missed him during his paternity leave, but he arrived and just kept doing what he had done before he missed those 4 games, and that is hit. A 381 average. Prado right now is second in the National League. And since Martina was born, Prado hitting at .538. There's stats for everything.
Martinez made Martin a happy man.
Ichiro, good lead. Prado takes in. And the count is 2-1. The Marlins run into a Brewers team that is in a full rebuild mode. They have dismantled most of the team from the last couple of years. Some big names remain. Ryan Braun, Jonathan Lucroy. But they've got young talent out there. They have parts from other organizations. And Craig Counsell, the former Marlin, in his first full season, has his work cut out for him this year.
Well, the Brewers ownership saw the success that the Houston Astros were having by dismantling their team and starting again fresh. New system completely from the bottom up, from the minor leagues, being able to develop, and they ended up hiring David Stearns.
Ichiro runs and Prado fouls it back out of play. David Stearns, the gentleman that you talked about, is only 30. I mean, he's young, and he was the assistant GM for the Astros, so he's the guy leading the rebuild. Prado, a long look down to Lenny Harris. Ichiro. Still sitting on 499 as far as stolen bases go. Prado fouls it at the plate.
No matter if you have that protector right there on the shin, it always seems to miss it. It's got him right above, almost on the knee area, just right under the kneecap. It's got to hurt.
Well, the Marlins can ill afford to lose a guy like Prado, especially after losing D. Gordon last night for 80 games. And Prado's trying to walk it off, like Kozak and Don Mattingly out for a look. The Marlins, before the ball game, called up Cole Gillespie, a guy that the Marlins saw and liked last year, a versatile outfielder who can play all 3 spots. Gillespie has also taken some ground balls at first and at third. Whether he can jump in and play right away at any of those spots is probably a big question right now, but it's something the Marlins are hopeful that with some work he could be there in an emergency. And that's right up near the knee. Prado back in now. Ichiro still at first. Emergency swing, and it stays 2-2.
And watch what Martin did with the protector right now on the shin. He raised it. Now he doesn't have the bottom side of the leg protected. This is a funny game, I'm telling you. You start not protecting one side, hopefully nothing happens there, and he continues to do what he's been doing in his streak, what he did in LA. Everything was mostly up the middle.
Yeah, Prado had 7 hits in just 3 games. That's a close play at first. And Ichiro is back. Dan Bellino, the umpire behind home plate. Adam Hamari, Kerwin Danley, Tony Randazzo on the bases.
Knowing Ichiro from the past, this is a count he loves to go in, 2-2. He knows that you never really get a pitch out on this type of count. Pitcher never wants to go 3-2.
A little closer. Davies is just 23, and he was a prospect coming up in the Orioles organization. The Brewers traded Gerardo Parra to the Orioles in July of last year, and Davies was the piece that came back to the Brewers. Not running, and Prado takes in, and now the likelihood is that Ichiro will be on the way. Prado is not a strikeout guy, and you've got Christian Yelich and Marcell Ozuna all lined up as the Marlins try to get on the board here early in Milwaukee. Ichiro runs. Prado lines it.
That's great.
Foul. That is I mean, Martin Prado.
Look at the expression. You have to love that. Uh-oh. Oh, that's great right there. That's a veteran move on his part. Getting full, but knowing it was going to be a strike. Facial expression.
He and Lucroy had a few words on that, but the fact was the emergency swing bought him another pitch in the at-bat. Let's see if Ichiro's running again on 3-2. He runs, a swing and a miss. Lucroy's throw is into the runner. It hits Ichiro. And he's got stolen base number 500 in his career. How about that? All the milestones that Ichiro has hit, 500 stolen bases. It comes tonight here in Milwaukee.
Well, he better get the bag, right? There's a recognition right there. Chris Johnson, Tom Kohler.
No announcement here in Miller Park, but Ichiro can see his teammates on the rail. So number 500 for Ichiro, and here is Yelich. Yelich continues to sit at the top of a lot of categories. And there's the big breaking ball from Davies. Curveball and changeup are both plus pitches for him.
Well, we saw right there with Martin Prado, threw him that curveball for the emergency hack, then went to the changeup. So he really trusts all his secondary pitches.
Yelich fourth in the National League in hitting. And he takes down low. It's 1-1. On base percentage, Yelich tied for first. He has been on base in all 21 Marlin games this year. Ichiro has drawn the attention of Zach Davies, that's for sure. Brewers defensively, it's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Yes, Ryan Braun is still a Brewer. He's in left. Ramon Flores in center. Domingo Santana in right. Chris Carter at first base. Yadiel Rivera. Jonathan Villar up the middle. Aaron Hill, the former Diamondback and Blue Jay, and Jonathan Lucroy, a very good catcher with the bat and with the glove, is behind the plate. And Yelich fouls one back to the screen. And this, for the Marlin hitters, should be a really good place to hit. Different environment than Los Angeles. It is a little bit chilly here, but this has always been known as a great hitter's park.
And to me, when I played, this was my favorite place to hit. You could see the ball well. There was no glare. The background is completely dark. It's not green, it's just black throughout, and the ball flies to right center.
That is strike three called.
One thing he did with Christian, he decided to go backdoor right there, fastball, but he pitched backwards. Started off with the curveball, then went changeup, and then finished him off with the fastball. He was sitting off speed, ended up getting the fastball.
So a big strikeout for Davies. Ichiro is still at second, and here is Marcell Ozuna. Now the Marlins don't get here very often. They just come once a year. But Ozuna, if he had his way, would be here every week. This has been a park in just a short time that Marcell Ozuna has absolutely lit up. Starting in 2000 and 14. 5 homers in 10 games. In his last 7 games, he's hitting .391 and has all 5 of those homers in the last 7 games. And a slugging percentage well over 1,000. Davies misses away with the fastball. Safe to say that in the absence of Gordon, Marcell Ozuna, Justin Bour, and everybody else is going to have to pick up the slack and get going.
They do, but they can't try too much. I've said it all the time. They have to be able to play their game. Once they get in that trap, that's when they get in trouble.
Fastball away.
And not only that, Don Mattingly's managing is going to have to change also the strategy. When you have D at the top, it's a different game. You allow him to create havoc. Now, Don will probably do more hit and runs. Will try to bunt earlier in the game. We'll have to find out.
Its fastball sneaks up at 90 miles an hour. And they count 2-2 to Ozuna. Stanton, Real Muto, and Echeverria the night off. Tough travel for the Fish. And a chance to give them a rest, and you expect to see them on Saturday and Sunday as well. Ichiro still at second.
See that fastball up in the zone, trying to set him up maybe for that big curveball that he threw Martin Prado.
Change up, and Ozuna a very good take and is on his way to first. What's the scouting report on Zach Davies?
Well, one thing that he does, he pitches, from what I've seen, he pitches backwards. He has a 4-pitch mix, can really throw any pitch at any count. He's already shown it early. His go-to pitch, the changeup. We just saw it right there, 3-2 again. And he got his first win last September against the Fish.
That scatter report from Auto Nation. Jonathan Lucroy is on his way out to confirm that that scouting report was accurate.
And it was.
And it was. As Justin Bour stands in for Bour. An 0 for 8 in Los Angeles. And we've seen over the last week a little change in the way opponents are pitching Bour. And the cat and mouse game that is change and adjust in the big leagues. Or right now trying to adjust to a lot of high fastballs and a few more pitches in on him.
Yeah, we started seeing that when the Nationals came into Miami. They started getting more success in on him, and they've continued to pound him in.
Change up for a strike. It's 1-1.
And we said it in that scouting report. That's the pitch. That's his bread and butter. That's the reason Davies is in the big leagues. It's changeup, especially against left-handed hitters. He'll throw it at any count, especially when you're looking for that heater.
Ichiro at second, Ozuna at first. Big shift over towards the right side for Bour. Off the end of the bat, and it rolls back to the screen.
That's one thing that David Stearns had told me before the game, the general manager for the Brewers. He said, you think we shifted a lot in Houston when he was there. He said, we are very progressive here. We will shift a ton. He goes, sit back and watch. They lead all of National Leagues right now in the shifts.
And of course, Bour has gone the other way for hits here this first month. That almost got him in the leg, and it's 2-2. Well, the Marlins have pushed the pitch count for Davies up to 26. Bour is just the 5th hitter of the inning. Single by Ichiro. He swiped his 500th career bag. A walk to Ozuna. And Bour hits the ball to right field and hits it pretty well. Santana goes back. It's deep. It's gone. Justin Bour. And the Marlins, just like that, hang a 3 spot in the first inning in Milwaukee.
Well, he decided to go change up. again. Throws him the 2-2 pitch, hard in, moves his feet. Justin, learning from the first 2 swings off the changeup, stayed with it, catches it out front. That's a big man, strong man. Ball's down. Watch how he keeps his bat head in the zone. And you hit the ball out front like that, ball's going to travel. And I said it earlier, right center field, it's a jet stream here in this dome.
And now Derek Dietrich. And so exactly what the Marlins were hopeful, that in the absence of D. Gordon, everybody else picks up the slack. Bohr with a 3-run homer. Dietrich takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-1.
And I get it. He has a good changeup, but he's already thrown it and shown it a lot in the first inning. This is a starting staff that has struggled already this year. Bullpen's been overexposed a lot. And to start off the game already down 3 without your team getting an at-bat, that has to be a downer for the Brewers.
Yeah, Craig Counsell watching. Dietrich gets hit, and that's something that he's pretty good at. That's the 3rd time this year that Dietrich has been hit, and he trots down to first base. Dietrich he's a guy that knows the strike zone. He doesn't walk a ton, but he gets hit enough that if you add the hit by pitches to the walks, all of a sudden he gets on base.
He's not afraid of the baseball. He stays right in there, and he knows his value.
I guess the question would be, tomorrow when Stanton is back and Ichiro's not in the lineup, who leads off? There's Rojas with 2 outs.
We'll find out. It could be that man at first base.
Don Mattingly was asked that in his pregame press conference, and he said, you know what, I'm not big on making lineups out and throwing them out there. He said, we'll figure it out. Yelich certainly is a candidate, though
I really like Yelich in the 3 spot.
Yeah,
though.
and that's the problem. You like him in the 3 spot. Dietrich could be a guy. Tim Wallach was talking about it's nice to have a guy who can hit home runs in that leadoff spot, so a pitcher can't just come out and fire fastballs. So
I think less is more. The less you move the lineup around, the better you are. So you bring in the regular guys back in. The best move sometimes is the move you make the least, and that could be Dietrich.
this has turned into a 20-minute half inning, and Zach Davies and his manager Craig Counsell have to be a bit concerned. You see the pitch count is already at 33, and it's a Brewers bullpen that was worked hard in the 2 games in Chicago. Rojas pulls it foul. Now Miguel Rojas too. You focus on replacing Gordon in the lineup and out in the field. The versatility of Miguel Rojas, the versatility of Derek Dietrich, those are things that the Marlins are going to have to rely on for the next 80 games, because they both can play second base. Rojas, of course, is a premium glove man at second or short or third or first.
Right. Most likely they'll end up getting platooned, depending on the lefty-righty situation.
Busted bat and a little dribbler. Hill gets the out. The Marlins, though, put 3 up, and it's Justin Bohr who goes deep, and a 3-0 lead for Adam Conley and the Fish. 3-run homer, and Miami off to a good start, trying to make it 6 in a row. The Marlins haven't won 6 in a row since July of 2014, so a chance here. And here come the Brewers. Their lineup brought to you by UHealth Sports Medicine.
Probably the biggest guy in the game leading off, Domingo Santana. You won't find the leadoff hitter that big. Jonathan Villar playing shortstop. Ryan Braun has hit Conley well in the past, 800. Jonathan Lucroy, Chris Carter in the 5-hole. Aaron Hill, the veteran, playing third base. Ramon Flores in center field. Yadiel Rivera, second baseman, really good glove.
And Adam Conley pumps in a strike to start his day. Conley's numbers are not indicative of how well he's pitched. You see that ERA of just over 5. 4 of the runs in his last 2 starts that scored came in after he left. And so he'll go to work here against a Brewers team that, as we've pointed out, has a lot of youth. Santana, one of those guys. He's just 23. Sprinkled with veterans, some good veterans. Braun, Lucroy, and Hill. And Derek Dietrich, how about that? It always seems to happen, right? I mean, here's Dietrich filling in at second base, and the ball goes right to him, the first hitter. Southwest Airlines brings you the defense with Stanton, Echeverria, and Real Muto getting the night off. Yelich, Ozuna, and Ichiro in the outfield. Bohr and Prado on the corners. Rojas and Dietrich up the middle, and Jeff Mathis is behind home plate. Perry Hill was out early with Dietrich, going over a lot of things. Now, the Marlins have been working Dietrich out at second base from the very start of spring training all the way through tonight. This is not like he had to go over there and figure out where to go. Perry Hill, just a quick refresher course on positioning on the double play pivot. But he's very confident that Dietrich can play there. And the hope is he gets to the level of play at second that he had 2 years ago in spring training before that bad hop broke his nose. He's played very well at third base this year. Conley misses out, and the count's 2-1. This was earlier today. Dietrich getting his reps out there. Perry Hill put his marks on the outfield grass.
There he is right there, making sure that he's going to be in the right position. Stayed with him for a while, and you have to like this. The team did not hit today, but they did take their grounders.
Wow, Conley zips in at 94 and gets a strikeout.
And I know they're 2 different pitchers, but what Conley's doing right now in the first inning, he's establishing his fastball. And that's one thing that he has to do. That secondary stuff can wait for the second time around the lineup. That's one thing Juan Nieves has wanted him to do from the get-go. Be able to establish hard in, establish a fastball, learn how to get outs with it on each corner.
Ryan Braun, the former Miami Hurricane, 6-time All-Star, and a dangerous man. And just ask Adam Conley that. You see the numbers that he's put up so far this year. 4 doubles to add to those 5 homers. But he's 4 for 5 in his career against Conley, and he fouls that one back to the screen.
I think that was a different Adam Conley he faced last time. This is the more aggressive Adam Conley. I think this is a Conley that establishes that fastball, gives it all he's got, and does not just try to pace himself.
Bouncer to short. Rojas has it on to first in time. When we get back, Michael Hill, president of baseball operations for the Miami Marlins, joins us as the Fish are off to a 3-0 start. And his ball club arrived here about 6:30 in the morning, hot from the West Coast, and they've stayed hot with a Justin Bour homer. Rich Waltz, Eduardo Perez, Mike Hill, president of baseball operations for the Fish, joins us now as Jeff Mathis stands in. Michael, take us through the last, I guess, less than 24 hours, because the procedure, the way it works, you guys were not aware of the suspension for D. Gordon until last night.
Oh, it definitely a whirlwind the past few hours, and obviously very disappointing news when we found out about our all-star second baseman. But the policy is in place to protect the player and make sure that he gets due process, and it was obviously devastating once we found out.
1-2 to Mathis. You were in the clubhouse last night. What was the reaction of teammates, of Don Mattingly and staff? And we heard from David Sampson earlier in the telecast.
Well, it was such a great time. We had just done something historical and sweeping as Mathis takes strike 3 there for the first out. But we had just done something historical, never been done in franchise history, and sweeping the Dodgers, a 4-game set there. So we were all excited, jacked up, and then it just sort of deflated the clubhouse because we love D, and he's a big part of who we are and what we're trying to do as Adam Conley steps in, and it was emotional, and the one thing that we all said, and there was a lot said, teammates and coaches, is that this is a team, and it's not just one person. And it's unfortunate, D made a mistake, and he's paying for that mistake. But this team will persevere, and we will get through it. And, we still have a lot to accomplish in this season. And that was one thing that D wanted, the rest of his teammates, in his apology to his teammates, is to keep it going, because there is a feeling that there is something special going on in that clubhouse.
Adam Conley, little tapper to short. Now, D. Gordon did release a statement last night, though I did not do so knowingly. I've been informed that test results showed I ingested something that contained prohibitive substances. The hardest part about this is feeling that I've let down my teammates, the organization, and the fans. I have been careful to avoid products that could contain something banned by Major League Baseball. The 20-plus tests that I have taken and passed throughout my career prove this. I made a mistake, and I accept the consequences as Ichiro steps in. Have you talked to D, and during these 80 games, what's the communication, what's the process for him as a player and you as an organization?
Well, I did spoke to him face to face, and he told me about the about the suspension. And I've subsequently spoken to him as he's, returned back to South Florida as Ichiro grounds out the shortstop. And can I stay for another half inning?
Absolutely. Mike Hill is turning into a very solid play-by-play announcer. A savvy president of baseball operations. All right, we'll stick around. We'll finish that thought. We have some more questions for you. Don Mattingly, the Fish, off to a 3-0 start. is a presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Miller Park Chili in Milwaukee. Marlins a 3-0 lead. Justin Bour with a 3-run homer. Adam Conley unfolds and throws a strike. Rich Waltz, Eduardo Perez, Mike Hill, president of baseball operations. We were talking about the process with D. Gordon, the communication that you had last night in Los Angeles, and I guess communication and procedure moving forward.
And it'll be ongoing, obviously, as we go through this time with him. And essentially, we're going to give him some time just to digest, this what has happened to him, and then it'll be back to work and to keep himself in shape and keep himself ready upon the conclusion of the suspension.
So that means he'll end up reporting to Jupiter. Will he be able to go like to A-ball, AA, and AAA as
I know he'll be able to report to our spring training complex. Shot to Martin Prado.
I'll listen to you. Outstanding.
By Jonathan Lucroy. 1 down. Keep mowing him there, AC. But he'll report to our extended spring training program up in Jupiter, and he'll be able to stay in shape. He can actually participate in those games. I can participate in those games because there's no gate being accepted, no money being charged for those extended spring training games. That season will run through the first week of June, and then it'll be a little bit of a quiet time because the rookie ball season starts and our short season started after the draft, and we'll just have to find ways to keep him in shape and keep him sharp until the 80-game suspension is over.
Big bat here, Chris Carter. And Conley throwing free and easy, 93 with that fastball. And he's out in front, 0-2. Now, moving forward on the field, we've talked about Don Mattingly and Tim Wallach told us today about their plans up the middle. Carter lines it into left field. Yelich makes the catch. Derek Dietrich getting the first shot at second. I would think your versatility with Rojas, Dietrich, Johnson is something you really have to lean on here for the next 80 games.
Now, and that's something that we talked about. We didn't have a lot of time to digest this as it came down so quickly, but we felt like we had the answers here internally. Derek Dietrich, what we think about him. We think he can be an everyday player. He has been an everyday player. I think that's why there's so much optimism and confidence that we won't miss a beat. He's a different type of player, and I think we're going to win games differently with him in the lineup. But he has a great eye at the plate, on-base average, and adds a power complement that we didn't have when D was available. So I think we'll continue to roll, and we'll just have to win games a different way.
Aaron Hill takes in top of the lineup. How does it shake out? What are the possibilities?
Well, I think with Ichiro playing today and giving G a rest, it was pretty easy to put him at the top of the lineup. I think when Big G comes back, Donnie's talked about putting as AC goes inside and punches out Aaron Hill for the 3rd out.
You're the king of the 1, 2, 3 innings.
I know.
All right, give me a couple names that might be at the top of your lineup.
Derek Dietrich. First and last.
There you go. That works. All right. I know it's a trying time for you and for the organization. We appreciate you coming by and visiting with us.
Guys.
All right. Michael Hill, president of baseball operations. Justin Bour's homer holding up in Milwaukee. Martin Prado leads it off for Miami in the third in Milwaukee, and Prado takes a strike from Zach Davies. The Marlins got to Davies for 3 runs in the first. Prado a strikeout, but Justin Bour's 3-run homer with 2 outs cleared the bases. And the count quickly 0-2. Davies threw everything. Fastballs, changeups, curveballs. Prado sneaks it down that right field line. It's going to roll up near that wall. Prado digging for second, and he is in there. Martin Prado with a leadoff double, and the hits continue to come for Prado, second in the National League in hitting.
That's what happens when you're not afraid of getting jammed. You let the ball get deep, pitch out over the plate, hits it down the line, and hustles his way into second base.
Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, it's been a tremendous start to the season for Martin Prado. Coming into this series, he had a hit in 15 consecutive starts. That is now up to 16 consecutive starts, and there's only one player in Marlins history who's gotten off to a better start when it comes to that category. That would be Jose Cantu, who made 17 consecutive starts in 2010 with a hit. But guys, with the way Prado is playing, he's got a good chance at keeping that streak alive and catching Cantu.
All right, thank you, Jess. Sorry about the interruption there. Christian Yelich at the plate. It's 1-0. Martin Prado at second. And Zach Davies misses away.
One thing Davies did was show a lot of off-speed pitch that first inning. Second inning, while Michael Hill was broadcasting the game, he went all fastballs. Again, started with Prado fastballs. Looks like he was told, be aggressive with it. So far he has.
And your point during that first inning was showing too much of the changeup, showing too much of the curveball.
You do. You have to establish your fastball first. You have to be able to do that. Hit it on each corner. Then once you do that, then you can get the hitters out in front. You show them the entire repertoire you have. To get by the lineup the second time around, that's very difficult.
Davies, who was raised in Arizona, was actually born in the Northwest, Puyallup, Washington. In fact, oddly enough, 2 guys starting in the National League in Milwaukee were born about an hour apart from each other in distance. Conley born in Redmond, Washington, and Davies born in Puyallup. And Yelich is sitting on a 3-2 pitch. And he got him. And he beat him with the breaking ball. So an out here in the third. Big discounts with the new Steals and Deals Tuesday offer. The next Steals and Deals game is coming up on May 3rd. The Marlins and the Diamondbacks at 7:10. First 10,000 fans get an Ichiro t-shirt courtesy of Saito Pharmaceutical. Go to Marlins.com today. Crowd here is still bundled up. The temperature inside is probably about, what, 15 to 20 degrees better?
I like it.
You like it?
It's a little bit better. It's nice and cool, yet no wind. And as long as it's not windy, I'm okay.
Ozuna takes down low. You've got Bour on deck. There's a look outside. It feels a lot colder than 52, that's for sure. High humidity. Yeah. The wind has kind of died down from earlier today.
See, right now he gets that runner in scoring position with Yelich. Again, went to that off speed. He really feels comfortable with it. Here, Ozuna, all pitches have been off speed.
See what he gets, 3-0. It's the fastball. Already 61 pitches. for Zach Davies. And Ozuna walks. So Ozuna had last night off. Now, earlier on this road trip, Marcell Ozuna walked twice, 2 games in a row, which is something he had never done in his career. And here he is with 2 walks here.
And I think the guy that has to have the biggest smile is not that man, but it's Barry Bonds. He's been preaching. Take the walk. Take the walk. It'll force pitchers now to go back into the zone for you to get a good cookie to hit.
Now Bohr, it was a changeup, and Bohr reached out and hooked it and blasted it off of the second deck in right center field. That was a long ways from home plate. And as you pointed out, that's where the ball carries the best in this ballpark, right center.
And I know Justin's a left-handed hitter, but right-handed hitters, this ballpark puts you right in the mode to hit the ball hard right center field and not pull off of anything. They come in, you can react. Puts you in a really good habit, a good mental habit, and a great approach to have.
Bohr drives it left center field in the gap, and it goes to the wall. Scoring is Prado. Ozuna to third. He's coming home, and he's held. Has to get back, and he is out. Ozuna looks to the dugout and says, review it. The Brewers throwing behind the runner and getting him, and we'll have to see exactly what happened between Ozuna and Lenny Harris. Bohr with an RBI double. The Marlins get a run, and here's a look, and we'll see what happened at third base.
Well, right here, nice job by Bohr, but a great job by Braun hitting the cutoff, man. Once you hit the secondary right there, Yadier Rivera did a nice job of holding on and looking at Aaron Hill and getting the play made at third, but I think he might have been safe.
All right, from that angle, it looked like there was a possibility of him being safe, and the Marlins are going to challenge it. I think there has to be another angle other than that one to overturn it, though. I don't know that that was clear and conclusive. Now they have obviously the Brewers television feed, all of their camera angles, as well as the Marlins, and Major League Baseball actually has a few of their own cameras in the building as well.
From that angle, it's very difficult to tell also. Very difficult to tell. Umpire looked like he was in great position right there.
Ozuna hopeful as he looks up.
Tony Randazzo at third base, veteran umpire.
All right, here's what happened with Lenny Harris. Ozuna was going hard. There's the stop sign. And just a little late on the stop. Now we've got a view of a replay up on the scoreboard, and in that one he looks safe.
It's going to be interesting which feed they have, if they have ours or also Milwaukee's over there.
They have them both.
They have them both in New York.
They have them both.
And you had said that Lenny had put his hands late. I don't think so. I think it's more that Ozuna was running and he had his head down. Then all of a sudden he looks up, because if we take a look at the replay again and see Ozuna rounding third base, you would see he had his head down to the last minute. You have to be, as a runner, already picking up your third base coach right when you're about to hit the bag. He was coming hard the whole way.
Well, he's out, and we'll see if it's confirmed or call stands. If it stands, there wasn't enough to overturn it. If it's confirmed, they saw him as clearly out. Call stands. So not enough to overturn.
Wow.
And now here is Dietrich. And so now there are 2 outs. But Bohr's in scoring position. Dietrich takes down low. Now some of the shots from the Brewers truck are coming in. Again, you have to be 100% sure to overturn it. That's why the original call is so important.
It's one of those, if he would have called safe, Milwaukee challenges it, and it would have stood also. But lost in all of this is Justin Bohr's ability of going gap to gap.
And Bohr has driven in all 4 runs. Dietrich takes in. And it's 2-1. Dietrich hit by a pitch for the 3rd time this year.
Good time right now. 1-1, a 2-1 count to throw the changeup. Dietrich has been watching this. Could get it right here. That's his comfort zone. That's the pitch he goes to.
In the air, foul territory, first base side, and it's Rivera who makes the catch. Miami will have to settle for a run, but they stretch their lead to 4-0. Justin Bohr, 3-run homer, an RBI double, and a 4-0 Miami lead. The next Kids Eat Free Wednesday on May 4th. The Marlins on Wednesday take on the Diamondbacks at 7:10. Each child 12 and under with a ticket gets a coupon for a free KM Beef Frank, bag of Frito-Lay chips, and a small Pepsi or Aquafina water. Look at that guy carving it up there. Marlins.com for tickets. This is one of the great eating ballparks and drinking ballparks, for that matter, in all of baseball. Miller Park in Milwaukee. Can't believe those guys are drinking Coors.
Traders.
Not sure how Coors. Miller, I guess, owns Coors, right? Okay, well, that's
all right, well, we'll give him a break.
Special dispensation there. 1-1 and a strike. Now that's a helmet full of nachos, and looks like he's got a bag of something in the sweatshirt as well. Ramon Flores rolls it to Derek Dietrich, and Dietrich handles his second ground ball of the ball game. And Adam Conley is really pounding the strike zone, getting ground ball outs. He has 5 of those. He has a strikeout and a line drive out as well.
So far, a great pick-me-up right now, the way he's been throwing the baseball, especially the team arriving so early this morning. Being able to give them some a break.
This is Yadiel Rivera, and Rivera takes a strike.
This kid, I managed him in Puerto Rico. He actually played for me in Santurce. 185 average right now. The strength is his glove. 23 years old, but very good defender. Excellent at third, short, and second base.
Always rated as the best defensive shortstop in whatever minor league he was in, all the way up the ladder. And the Brewers having to replace some familiar names that departed in the offseason or in July of last year when Milwaukee sort of pulled the plug and moved names like Carlos Gomez, Mike Fiers, Gerardo Parra, Aramis Ramirez. Gene Segura, the guy that had been at shortstop for the last few years, is gone as well. Adam Lind gone. Chris Davis gone. And with a new regime, as you pointed out, coming in from Houston in particular, there are some pieces that have been acquired from Houston. Ichiro in right tonight. And he lines that one up and makes the catch. And Adam Conley was retired the first 8 he's faced here in Milwaukee tonight.
Well, you had said it. David Stearns coming in from Houston, made a trade, ended up getting Jonathan Villar, playing shortstop right now. Also, Chris Carter signed him as a free agent to play first base, staying in his comfort zone, getting guys that he knows, being able to plug them into the lineup.
Now Davies, the pitcher, is up, and he fouls one back. Do you buy my argument that Conley's performance is better than the numbers illustrate this year?
Oh, without a doubt. He's just left those runners on base, and they haven't been able to. Bullpen hasn't been able to close it out for him.
He looks like he has a 9 o'clock dinner reservation in the what is it, the 3rd ward down there?
Well, if it's that, I'm inviting. I'm buying.
Wow. Conley is working quickly. He's working effectively. He's retired all 9 that he's faced as Miami has a 4-0 lead. I love the way he's. Got the shirt, got the glove. He's hopeful for a foul ball. What do you see from Zach Davies so far tonight?
Well, tendencies, and we talked about it early. We said he loves his changeup. But in order to establish the off-speed pitch, this is what he does. He goes hard in on the left-handed hitters, and then after that, he'll go off-speed with them. And you saw what Justin did there with the home run. Again, 3rd inning, does the same thing to Christian. Goes in, might as well sit off speed because here comes what? The breaking pitch. Gets him out to strike him out. One thing the Marlins will notice, unless Zach Davies makes that adjustment, is once he goes in, he'll end up going soft away to try to get you out.
Miguel Rojas leads it off. Rojas getting the start at short. If you're just joining us, the Marlins in their first game without D. Gordon, who starts his 80-game suspension for violating Major League Baseball's drug policy. Gordon dropped his appeal. Gordon and the Players Association knew about the suspension for some time. Last night, Gordon told his manager, Don Mattingly, and then after the game announced it to his teammates in a very emotional talk, we were told. And the Marlins had just swept Los Angeles for the first time ever in LA, and it was a 4-game sweep, winning their 5th straight. They don't seem to be missing a beat here tonight. Justin Bour's driven in 4. Adam Conley has looked sharp. And to a man, the Marlins have stayed very confident that with Derek Dietrich out at second base, Miguel Rojas will probably get a start against lefties. Don Mattingly very proud of the effort in LA. That has to be for him into right field. That's a base hit. That has to be really something for Don Mattingly, because he left the Dodgers, but they left him as well. And so to go back into Los Angeles and sweep them in 4 games like that,
priceless.
And they were, the Dodgers were a first-place team. They still are, but they're tied for first. They were 12-7 when that series opened.
But it was a breath of fresh air what the pitching was able to do over there, and what Giancarlo Stanton was able to do over there. So well balanced. You look at the swings he had at the beginning in San Francisco, and then to turn it around in LA.
Mathis on the end of the bat. Jeff Mathis getting a start. For the Marlins, and Don Mattingly stressed this today, the wins in Los Angeles, the win in San Francisco that started the 5-game streak, a complete team effort from the starting pitchers to the bullpen, especially the back of the bullpen, Phelps and Ramos. 2 guys up and down the lineup. JT Realmuto having a really nice trip. Prado, Yelich. And yeah, D. Gordon had some moments, but Gordon had just 4 hits in Los Angeles.
Love the start by Nicolino, also being able to come out there and just pound the zone. It was just a gutsy performance. Loved it all around.
Mathis swings and misses. And he strikes out. South Florida Honda dealers bring you Marlins Live. Jessica from Miller Park. Farm Report, and Juan Nieves, who holds a distinction in Brewers history with the no-hitter he threw in a injury-shortened career. Conley trying to bunt, and I think he did, somewhat reluctantly, and it's 0-1.
Didn't look too comfortable right there, putting the bat head down on it.
You know, the amazing thing about the no-hitter by Juan Nieves, it's the only no-hitter in Milwaukee Brewers history. Can you believe that?
No, not at all.
Conley, very nicely done. So the sacrifice is good, and here comes Ichiro with Miguel Rojas on deck. That's amazing. I mean, the Milwaukee Brewers have 1 no-hitter, and it's Juan Nieves. It was in Baltimore in 1987. We'll have the highlights and chat with Juan Nieves about that very special ball game and about that piece of Milwaukee Brewer history. I think Robin Yount was in center field and made a diving catch in the gap to help preserve that.
And keep an eye on Davies right now. He's been throwing that changeup when there's runners in scoring position a lot. Doesn't want to lose with his fastball. He'll show his fastball, but it's a ball out of the zone. That ball was way inside.
Ichiro reacting to it, and it was inside.
Davis does not trust it so much in the zone. He'll show it, but he wants to lose with the off speed.
Pitches down low. The Brewers have been they've been in Milwaukee since 1970. And Juan Nieves has the only no-hitter since 1970.
Oh, that other ballpark, if we were in it right now, whew, it'd be cold.
County Stadium.
County Stadium.
1-2 to Ichiro. Ichiro sends it center field, hits it pretty well. Flores is back, and he's there and makes the catch shy of the track. 4-0 Fish, bottom of the fourth in Milwaukee. Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com to learn more. By Checkers, fast foodies know the deal. And by your South Florida BMW Centers. The truck notes that those two are in glove.
The truck.
With each other, apparently. It's a short, and Rojas can't come up with it. Domingo Santana is aboard. That could be a hit. It could be an error. Conley's not given up a hit yet.
Well, watch Flores right. Watch Rojas right here. Circle this baseball to get in front of it, and it just came up last minute. Did everything right. Ball just hopped up. Nothing he can do on that one. Very sure-handed. He would tell you he should have had it, but last-minute hop.
No ruling yet from the official score. Here's VR, and he lines it foul down the left field line. Jonathan VR is a name not a lot of people around the National League are familiar with. VR, a 25-year-old Dominican, originally property of the Phillies, went to Houston in that big trade for Roy Oswalt. Last year appeared in the postseason, spent 53 games in Houston. And they have posted an error on Rojas. Conley misses in.
All right, see where Villar's back foot is. It's pointing more towards the first baseman than straight through into the dugout. He should be pointing that foot to the dugout. Right-handed hitter, watch where it plants. Should be either pointing to the dugout or first base. Being a switch hitter the way he is, all he can do is hit the ball with authority with his legs on the pull side. Catchers notice this. They'll try to keep everything away and soft away because he cuts off his swing. See how the foot is pointed more this way right there instead of this way. And that right there, catchers see it and they'll throw away, away, away. Sometimes they'll show him in to keep it honest. This is a switch hitter, shows a lot of power from the right side, more of a slap hitter from the left side. He'll have that open stance, but keep an eye on his foot once he swings at the pitch.
So I've always wondered, you saw that chart that just popped up, and he fouls it back. He's a switch hitter. Is that chart for him as a right-handed hitter, or is that both sides?
I think that one right there is both sides because he shows more power down and in, anything middle in as a right-handed hitter. Very vulnerable on the changeup down and away. See, that's a good pitch right there, but would have been with 2 balls, but not with 3.
So an error on Rojas and a walk by Conley, the first he's allowed. And suddenly Milwaukee, with some big bats coming up, have runners on. And in this ballpark, I think you and I have seen enough games to know that it changes in a heartbeat here. Ryan Braun, Jonathan Lucroy, and then Chris Carter, all strong enough to knock one out of here. Braun bounced to short in the first. Conley, the 25-year-old, Olympia, Washington, his hometown, Washington State University.
That's a good pitch, and the reason that happens right there, that off-speed pitch, and gets Braun out in front is because he got him out with fastballs earlier on in the at-bat, the first at-bat. There went off speed. Now you can play with him either on either corner, hard in or soft away.
There's the hard in. In Milwaukee all weekend, Eduardo Perez, Jessica Blaylock, our entire Fox Sports Florida crew. And the 1-1. Braun going after that off-speed pitch. And you diagrammed it quite well. There's pitch 3 is covering pitch 1. First time through the lineup, it was 95% fastballs.
It was 95% fastballs. I think the second time in the lineup it would have been. But when you have runners in scoring position, it's a different story. Tries to be a little bit more careful. I think this is far enough. You do not want to go 3-2 with Ryan Braun. Try to get him out on this pitch.
Santana at second, Villar's at first. 2-2 is up. And was time called? The second base umpire called time. And so I don't think there is a pitch.
Watch him right here, second base.
Yep, he called time.
He called time.
And so the count is 2-2. Craig Counsell's upset because he felt that time came from the second base umpire as the pitch was being delivered. And you can understand Counsell's frustration. The pitch was actually a strike, but it wasn't called, so I think the Marlins would love to have that strike.
Well, Dan Polino, the home plate umpire, sees Kerwin Danley at second base, call time. There's no reason to make a call. He has him right in front of him.
Marlins run a play at second with Santana out there. 2-2 is the count to Ryan Braun. Just missed. That's a pitch that Braun swung at twice in the at-bat. So the count's full. There's nobody out.
And no reason for the runners to go anywhere. Down 4.
In and loaded.
Decided to go with the slider right there, 3-2. Early on, first time around, was on a great pace with the fastball. Hitters haven't been catching up to it yet. Now all of a sudden, back-to-back walks as Juan Nieves takes them out.
Eduardo, in this 5-game win streak, we've talked about the hitting for the Marlins, Stanton's home runs, guys like Real Muto and Yelich and Prado and the rest of the lineup, tonight Bohr. We've talked about pitching. The starting pitching has been very good. The bullpen's been outstanding. Just 1 run on this 5-game win streak. The other thing the Marlins have done well is when something has gone wrong, whether it was in San Francisco on Sunday or in Los Angeles, the Marlins were able to keep things from unraveling. And this is one of those moments right here. The Brewers had the bags loaded with nobody out. Conley was perfect through 9. And the second time through, an error by Rojas and then 2 walks. So he retired the first 9 he faced. Here's Lucroy, who is a solid hitter. And he fouls it back. Lucroy last year missed time with a broken toe. Remember, he got hit on the mask against the Marlins last year and had a concussion as well. So as a result, he played just in 103 games. Infield looks for 2. And that's a strike outside corner.
Love the visit by Juan Nieves. One thing now that you see in the pitch outside on the Fox tracks, but this is all happening because of the fastball he's been able to establish. Went right back to it. You have to be able to get ahead for the off-speed pitches to work, get the hitters thinking heater.
Oh, 2.
I'd love to see that fastball hard again outside to see if Dan Bellino will give it to him again. Jonathan Lucroy being such a good hitter knows that he has to be able to protect the outside part of the plate. Maybe with the velocity that Conley possesses, he could get him to chase.
He did chase, and it was a changeup. It stays at 1-2. Not a big crowd, but this building with the roof closed can get loud at times. Another 1-2.
Love to see him go back to his money pitch, the fastball. That's the one that's really been working for him all night. It's been electric.
Two. Got him. Fastball, and there is the money pitch.
He's had it all night. No reason to get in trouble with the rest. See that pitch outside. And when you have velocity like he possesses, 94, that appears by the way the Brewer hitters are swinging that it's harder at 96 maybe. They're going to open up the zone big time.
And so there's the first out. Here's Chris Carter. He can hit the ball a long ways. And when he does make contact, it usually goes a long ways. He is one of the great all or nothing hitters in the game right now. A modern day, Dave Kingman. Think about the guys that did major damage and hit like 220. Rob Deere might be a guy in Brewers history. Bouncer to third. Dietrich, his turn right on the money. 5-4-3. And Adam Conley does a terrific job of keeping things from snowballing and holds on to a 4-0 lead. Jeep is a presenting sponsor of Miami Marlins baseball. Nighttime in Milwaukee, land of, well, let's see, land of cheese, land of beer, land of brats, land of tailgates, land of the Brewers. As Martin Prado leads it off, and he takes a strike. Prado, Yelich, Ozuna. Many of you come in and out of games, and if you've arrived at this one, the Marlins have 4 runs driven in by Justin Bour, a 3-run homer and an RBI double. As well, this is game number 1 for the Marlins during the 80-game suspension from their all-star Gold Glover batting champ D. Gordon. And Martin Prado just keeps on hitting. 2 more hits tonight as Prado smacks a single to left.
What a beautiful approach. Not pulling off anything, trusting his hands. And right here, throws them back-to-back curveballs, and big mistake. No stride whatsoever, stays in there long enough and is able to hit it right in the hole.
And so while there were questions as to how would the Marlins react to that on the field, they're in the middle of a 5-game win streak. They've not won 6 in a row since 2 years ago. They have come out swinging the bats. Adam Conley, their starter, has been sharp. The defense has been crisp. No signs of a team that arrived here at 6:30 in the morning from a late night in Los Angeles, and an emotional late night at that. Yelich takes outside.
Davies continues to throw that fastball out of the zone and then attack the zone with the off-speed pitches.
This is an odd feeling with this Yelich at bat. I looked to the scorebook, and he has struck out twice. And that doesn't happen very often, back-to-back strikeouts. He's sitting on a 3-0 pitch here.
Don't be surprised if he gives him the green light. You don't have Stanton in the game. Why not?
Giancarlo Stanton getting the night off. So is JT Realmuto and Adeiny Echeverria. Don Mattingly felt that he had to give some of his regulars tonight off on a night with not much sleep at all.
Let me see right there. That ball 4, that was a ball. 4th pitch of the at-bat. I'm telling you, he does not attack in the zone with the fastball.
That's out, and Yelich walks. And the on-base streak continues for Yelich. 22 straight. Every game the Marlins have played this year, Yelich has reached base. Major League Baseball and FS1 continues. The Giants and the Mets. San Francisco in New York. It all starts 3:30 Eastern on FS1. You can watch it live on the Fox Sports Go app. The Mets pounding the Giants tonight, 12-1 at Citi Field. To third, out there, out there, out there, a triple play. Hill to Rivera to Carter. And Zach Davies is the beneficiary of a triple play.
This is the only way it can happen. Right there, one step, throw it to Rivera, nice turn. Carter finishes it off. Triple play.
And his bench coach Pat Murphy on the Brewers bench, a triple play. Counsell actually played his college ball for Murphy at Notre Dame. Murphy, very successful college coach, also at Arizona State. He was the manager in San Diego last year when the Padres let go of Bud Black. Aaron Hill is up, and Hill started the triple play, and he swings and misses at a slider from Conley. It's 0-2. Center field, Ozuna makes the catch. If you're wondering what a triple play looks like,
a lot easier than the triple play the Chicago White Sox pulled off a week and a half ago. Yadier Rivera, nice turn at second base and great feed to Carter. What a way to get out of it.
the last time the Marlins hit into a triple play was 2002. The last time the Brewers turned a triple play was 2011, and that's only the 7th in franchise history, which dates back, as we just talked about, to 1970. Of course, this franchise did not start in Milwaukee. For 1 year, it was the Seattle Pilots in 1969. Just 1 year.
I did not know that.
Bud Selig and his group was able to purchase that team and move it from Seattle to Milwaukee.
I did wear a Pilot's uniform one time.
Throwback, turn back the clock?
Turn back the clock for the Mariners.
That's when you were a Mariner, huh?
2006.
Of course, Milwaukee had lost the Braves to Atlanta in the 60s. There are some great photos here at Miller Park of the World Series. I don't have the year in front of me when the Braves and the Yankees played. But that's why we have a research department. Rojas to first in time, and Ramon Flores is out number 2.
The more I see the Marlins catch ground balls, the more I really appreciate what Perry Hill does to each one of these players. So fundamentally sound. Watching the Brewers today with early work, it's complete. It's a different beast than what Perry Hill teaches. The way they can funnel everything towards their belly button and make the transfer there.
Here is Yadiel Rivera, the guy that Eduardo has managed in winter ball. That one's fouled back. '57 World Series. The Braves beat the Yankees 4-3. Fred Haney was the manager of the Braves. Casey Stengel was the manager of the Yankees. Lou Burdett was the MVP. A swing and a miss. Adam Conley through 5 is shutting out Milwaukee, and Justin Bour's having a big night.
Are still dealing with the loss of D. Gordon for the next 80 games. Don Mattingly knows, though, his team can get through this.
I think we've got a very mature young group that has been through a lot already. They went through some things last year and went through different scenarios. I've talked about it numerous times. When I would talk with this group after getting this job, I was pleasantly surprised at the confidence that they all showed. and that they came together at the end of the year last year. They want to be a good team. They think they have the opportunity to be a good team. And when you have that belief in yourself, I think that you just don't let anything get in your way.
Don Mattingly also saying there's always going to be obstacles as a team. All you can do is pull together and keep playing. Guys.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Well, the Marlins won't be facing Zach Davies anymore, as Blaine Boyer is in, and he'll pitch to Justin Bour. A strike to Bour. Hernan Perez will come in. He's in the 9 spot, and he's due to lead off the 6th. And Boyer takes over for Davies. So far, a good year for Boyer. And a sinker misses low. It's a ball and a strike. This is, I mean, if you look at this one on paper right now, it's Justin Bour and Adam Conley both having big nights. Bour, a 3-run homer to right, an RBI double to left. And Conley has not given up a hit in 5 innings. There was one ball that kicked off the glove of Miguel Rojas. The official score took probably a good 40-45 seconds before charging an error.
But it really was the right call.
And it right now it's 70 pitches for Conley. Bour fights off a fastball that counts 1-2. Home run number 2 for Bour, and the 4 RBIs gives him 11. Breaking ball, high fly ball, right field. Santana back at the wall, and that one's gone. Have a night, Justin Bour. He's driven in all 5 runs with 2 homers and a double.
Well, you want to know what a center cut breaking pitch looks like with 2 strikes? This is why you don't throw it right here. Right down the middle. Bullseye. Oh my. 5 RBIs on the night.
What a nice pick-me-up for that clubhouse and that dugout right now. Derek Dietrich shoots that one to center. Ramon Flores is out there, and he makes the catch.
Justin Bour is finding out how awesome it is to hit in this ballpark. Great background, great stance. Look at the balance right there. Ball carries that way. Yep. He gone.
5-0. Miami on top, and here is Rojas. So as I was saying, the stars here tonight are Adam Conley and Justin Bour.
Yes, you were. And right on the money with it.
Rojas fouls it off.
Just been really quiet at the plate. Able to see it sometimes when you don't get that much rest. You tend to just try not to do so much, and he's so strong. He's barreled a few up already tonight. But even though the most impressive one was the one he hit the opposite way.
Yeah, the double that bounced off the wall in left field. Rojas fouls it off. Miguel Rojas now, in the absence of D. Gordon from his suspension, the Marlins will look to Dietrich and Rojas to fill that second base void. And you think about those 2 players. Rojas, what the Marlins would love to see is the Rojas they saw late last year when he got to play a lot in the absence of Danny Echeverria. I don't think he held. He did not. And that's a strikeout. Season tickets for the Marlins start at just $6 a game. Half-season plans, 3 20-game mini plans. All ticket plans include entry into the Fish Family Loyalty Program and guarantee access to the 2017 All-Star Game at Marlins Park. Go to marlins.com/season tickets. Mathis now, and Jeff rolls one up the middle. VR gets the outs, but the Marlins get another one. In particular, Justin Bour gets another one. Tonight, 3-run homer, RBI double, and a solo shot here in the 6th. Score. All you need to say is Justin Bour's 2 homers, a double, has driven in 5, and Adam Kiley hasn't given up a hit yet to the Brewers. Miami has a 5-0 lead here in Milwaukee, and in Milwaukee we proudly present this Geico date in Major League history, and of course one of our favorites, the Hawk in '87, 5 hits on his way to the cycle as the Cubs beat the Cardinals 8-4. Now you have to know there were plenty of Budweisers pounded in the press box there. Probably Harry Carey on that day was celebrating a cycle and a win over the Cardinals, 2 of the franchises that he worked for. Here is Hernan Perez, and Perez, his first at bat, he came in a double switch. Domingo Santana, Jonathan VR in the 6th. And that pitch just missed.
This is the first time Perez has seen Conley. This is where he has to go right after him from the get-go.
To right, Ichiro back at the wall, and he makes a catch. It is a tough outfield to play when you're going back to the wall because there's so many zigs and zags, and the warning track doesn't change. So you have no idea when that wall is coming up.
Oh, that's a really difficult right field. You go back and watch how he starts feeling for it right here. Doesn't know when he's going to hit the wall, but takes a peek and makes a nice catch. One thing Ichiro is comfortable is playing right field in any ballpark. Look how odd it is compared to any other stadium in right field. Big warning track.
Obviously, the purpose of the warning track is to warn an outfielder when he's getting close to the wall, and outfielders will go out and measure how many steps on the track it takes before they get to the wall. Easier to do at home, tougher to do on the road if it's different. Here, you have no way when you're going back to see if is it coming in on me, is it going out?
Right, and none of the outfielders today with no batting practice worked out there, so it's all on feel. and knowing exactly where you are.
I will bet you a brat. You like brats?
Love brats.
All right, I'll bet you a brat that Ichiro came out here and did a workout to measure all of that. He is famous for doing that on off days or coming into parks he hasn't played in.
What, the workout to measure the outfield?
Yes, to just look at the the nooks, the crannies. You were a teammate of his, right?
I was, and I know that he would do that. But
Conley has 2 outs here in the 6th.
What time did you get to your hotel room today?
Well, there's the brat that could be yours if I'm wrong, or mine.
I want mustard on mine only. He has ketchup on his.
No, that's not ketchup, my friend.
What is that?
That's the famous red sauce, the stadium red sauce.
Oh, no. Now I want one.
That they put on the brats.
Really?
Yeah, so we're going to have to ask Ichiro tonight if he came out here and took some fly balls and measured the track.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about, little spicy mustard. I think he did not because of the time that the team got in today.
All right, Jonathan VR, bouncer to third, and Adam Conley here in Milwaukee has got 6 no-hit innings, and the Marlins have a 5-0 lead. In Milwaukee tonight, Rich Waltz, Eduardo Perez, Jessica Blaylock. It's down to 41 outside. Inside Miller Park, it's warm. And Adam Conley is red hot, and he's at the plate leading it off. In the 7th, 5-0, Marlins on top. Conley, Ichiro, and Martin Prado against Blaine Boyer. And Conley fouls it back to the screen. Lots of storylines here tonight. The suspension of D. Gordon. The Marlins playing their first game since that. Awful travel. The Marlins got to their hotel at 7 in the morning because of a night game in Los Angeles. Adam Conley, as almost all starting pitchers do, hopped on a plane yesterday morning and headed out here to Milwaukee. So he didn't arrive at 7. He's been here a while. And he's having a dominant performance in this one. He's not giving up a hit. That guy, Justin Bour, has driven in all 5 runs with 2 homers and an RBI double.
Stay hot.
So those are your storylines, and Eduardo jonesing for a brat right now.
Big time. Salivating after seeing all those over there with the spicy mustard. But not only did Conley fly early, also Chen came with him, and I think that was a really good move by the Marlins because as experience, having done those flights in the past, it's really not the next day. It's the second day in that you really feel it.
Ichiro singled in the first and then stole his 500th base. There's another storyline for you coming from this game. He's 1 for 3.
I'm really surprised they did not take second base out and exchange it for another.
Well, the Brewers were unaware. There was no mention in the stadium. Normally when a milestone is reached, they'll put something up on the scoreboard. So hopefully Ichiro will still get that. I don't think they've changed it yet, have they?
They usually do change it after the 5th inning. You know what? They don't. I don't think they have changed it. You want me to go out there and do it? We can do it real quick in commercial break. Might pull a hamstring or two.
That's all right. That might be fun to watch.
Oh, really?
It's the 3-0. No, I just want to see you run in your suit. Ichiro walks, and here comes Prado. And so Ichiro is aboard. Prado is 2 for 3 in this ball game. Prado struck out in the first, but had singles in the 3rd and the 5th. Ichiro is in the leadoff spot. If you're wondering who's hitting leadoff in this ball game in Gordon's absence, tonight it's Ichiro. That'll be different tomorrow when Stanton's back in the lineup. He gets tonight off. A strike.
Blaine Boyer not the quickest to the plate. Ichiro takes advantage of a lot of pitchers that aren't too fast. Try to get himself 501.
.394 right now. It's Prado, and he drills one into center field. He's got another hit. Ichiro stops at second. Martin Prado is knocking on 400's door.
It's a beautiful thing, and he's put on a show and continues to put on a show. First hit was down the line in right field, then pulls this one, pulls that one, and then this one right here up the middle. You see how he clears his hips but keeps the bat head in the zone, and Jonathan Villar had no chance to make that play.
Now Yelich. First at bats for everyone in this inning against Blaine Boyer, who came in the 6th. He gave up Justin Bour's 2nd homer. Ozuna on deck, and Yelich takes a strike. Oh, 0-2. Chorizo won the sausage race, the great racing sausages here in Milwaukee. As a player, did you wager on the sausage race?
Not really. I wish I could tell you I did, but I just wanted one to fall. Every time I'm running, I'm watching them. I'm like, okay, one of these bad boys are going to fall, and if the one in the front does, there go the rest.
Two and two.
Stayed middle to middle away with Yelich in this at bat.
Yelich, 1 homer on the year, 7 doubles. Sprays a ground ball to third. Hill out there, and the turn in time. And the Brewers get a double play and finish the seventh. Seventh inning stretch in Milwaukee. Adam Conley is no-hitting the Brewers. Milwaukee 5-0 Miami. Bring your group to Marlins Park. Spend quality time with your guests at an affordable cost. Family, birthdays, the office. You can network, neighbors. Marlins Group sales team ready to take your reservation. 1-877-MARLINS or go to marlins.com/groups. Hank the dog. I did not realize they had a large Hank. Hank was the dog that was adopted at spring training a few years back by the Brewers down in Arizona. Sean West in 2009 carried a no-hitter into the seventh against St. Louis. Adam Conley here. You can see the pitch count at 83. Really only one stressful inning, and that was a bases loaded, nobody out spot in the fourth. He struck out Lucroy, got a double play ball from Chris Carter. Braun has walked and bounced out. Conley, a closer at Washington State his first few seasons, and then he went to the coaching staff and said, I'd like to start. And that turned into a very valuable conversation. And he carves up Ryan Braun, who doesn't like the call, and barks at Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire.
Well, he's claiming it wasn't a strike. You see right there how it kisses the inside part of the plate. And one thing that Conley has been able to do all night is work with that fastball. Got away from it in the fourth inning, but has gone right back to it, hitting the corners, and then when he has to, goes to that off-speed pitch.
Here's Jonathan Lucroy, who's bounced out and struck out. Conley in this one has walked 2 and struck out 6. Marlins pen was used a lot and has been used a lot in this 5-game win streak. 5 very close games.
Got Lucroy out last time, pitching him fastballs outside corner. Couldn't establish it early.
Pours across his strike. And it's 3-1. Lucroy, an all-star earlier in his career. Back in 2014. Lifts that one. Ichiro approaches and makes the catch in foul territory.
That just tells you right there, 3-1 count, going with the fastball, being able to hit the outside part of it, and the hitters aren't just, they're not getting good at-bats whatsoever, good swings off it, even on hitters' counts.
There's your Brewers box score. Zeros all the way up and down. And here's Chris Carter, who's lined to left and bounced into a double play. Carter, immensely strong. 29-year-olds out of Las Vegas, Oakland, Houston. His last 3 years in Houston, he had seasons of 29, 37, and 24 homers. And he had a big September last year that helped Houston get to the postseason. Conley out in front, 1-2.
Never much for a high average. A lot of power. Has a really good idea of the strike zone, yet has that odd combination of swinging and missing a lot of pitches. Takes a lot of walks.
Slider misses. And it's 2-2. Conley has worked quickly all night. Good tempo, good rhythm. 2-2. Ooh.
Wow, that was a close pitch. Dan Bellino could have probably gone either way. Went with a changeup. See where it is, right down under the strike zone. He's been consistent.
3-2 to Chris Carter. Came in with a slider. 96 pitches. And you know what's going through Don Mattingly's mind right now.
Well, we saw two different views.
Just missed. Conley flinched, but he did not get the call, and it looked in. Let's see Fox tracks. And it was in.
That was in. Dan Bellino has not been giving that pitch all night to Conley.
Aaron Hill now off to a slow start this year. Liner down the right field line, and it slices foul. The Marlins right now up 5-0 with 2 outs are holding Chris Carter at first base.
Carter not known for his running, but you see how Justin Bour holds on runners at first. He's done it all season. That's what he does. Guarantee you, if it was a left-handed hitter, he'd be playing behind him. But because he's a right-handed hitter, he's okay where he's at.
The 1-1 in the air, shallow left. Rojas, Yelich. Adam Conley has 7 no-hit innings in Milwaukee, and the Marlins have a 5-0 lead over the Brewers. Milwaukee, Adam Conley sits by himself. Nothing was said to him as he entered the dugout. He's got the sweatshirt on. 7 no-hit innings against Milwaukee. As Craig pointed out, certainly an emotional night last night in Los Angeles, and the question would be, what carryover would that have with the team flying through the night, through the morning, getting into the hotel at 7 in the morning? And I guess the answer has been it really hasn't had any effect. A 5-0 lead, and here is Ozuna to lead it off in the 8th.
I think 3 guys took care of that. Martin Prado setting the tone, Justin Bour, and then Adam Conley going out there in the bottom of the 1st inning. We see Colin Walsh at 3rd base on the double switch.
David Goforth is the new pitcher for the Brewers.
To me, what Conley did in that 1st inning, setting it all up with the fastball, knowing that he has it there, and Mathis going to it, recognizing hitters are having a tough time picking it up.
Ozuna takes down low. Ozuna, part of a little history in the 5th when he bounced into a triple play. Only the 7th in Brewers franchise history, and the 1st since 2002 that the Marlins have hit into. Goforth, 3rd pitcher to work, and a little tapper towards 3rd. The shortstop VR, and Ozuna's out.
It's a really nice play by Jonathan Villar. Coming in, making that play, not hesitating whatsoever, and communicating really well with Walsh at 3rd. There goes the Brewers again, running around all the infield to get in position for the shift.
Well, if they want to get in position for Justin Bour, they might want to climb the fence in right field.
That's where I thought they were going.
Yes, the advanced metrics would show that 2 of the balls he's hit has gone over the fence in right, a 3-run homer, a solo homer, and then an RBI double off the wall in left. Cody Ross had the last 3-homer game for the Marlins back in 2006.
Yeah, my birthday.
Bour takes in, and this is the 3rd pitcher that Bour has faced in the ball game.
It really doesn't matter right now, the way he's taking pitches and the confidence he has at the plate. It's funny, everybody getting out of the hotel, going in their coats, heavy coats, and Justin just walking out in a polo shirt, short sleeve. Come on, guys, really? Is it that cold? It's around 37 degrees when we left the hotel.
1-2. Oh, strike 3 called. That's a pitch that Bour has been trying to lay off, but it's a strike right at the top of the zone. 2 outs here in the 8th. Fish Family, the exclusive loyalty program of Marlin fans. To learn more, log in marlins.com/fishfamily. The bonus code is Roof Crew, in honor of the Brew Crew, I assume. There's Derek Dietrich. He's 0 for 2. Dietrich hit by a pitch, has popped out and flied out. And Goforth misses down low with the breaking ball. Dietrich getting the start at 2nd. D. Gordon suspension starting tonight. He will miss 80 games. And Dietrich certainly is a guy that the Marlins hope can fill a lot of time at 2nd. And maybe in that leadoff spot. You heard Michael Hill in the 2nd when asked about potential leadoff guys. Ichiro's doing it tonight because he's in there with a night off for Stanton. I asked him for 2 names, and he said Derek Dietrich, first and last.
I know. I was wondering where you said maybe. Why did you say maybe? The way he answered, no hesitation whatsoever.
There's a strike. Well, you're going to get an occasional Ichiro sighting to give an outfielder some time off.
Oh, without a doubt. But when Giancarlo Stanton is in the game, and it's Yelich and Osuna and Stanton in the outfield, it's that man that's at the plate.
Well, here's the reason for the maybe, Eduardo. When the Marlins face a lefty, a tough lefty, like Adam Conley, Kershaw, Bumgarner, someone like that. There's no Dietrich in the lineup.
No, there's not.
So who's your guy?
Yeah, the whole lineup changes. Again, what I would say is don't alter the lineup that much.
Just replace that spot.
If you have to. Jimmy Leland was the master at that when he managed the Marlins. Go in, and if you give Bobby Bowe a day or whoever you were giving out, if it was Sheffield a day, you insert whomever it was for them in the 4th spot or in the 5th spot. As a player, you like to know where you're at all the time, the comfort zone. I know Christian Yelich can be that leadoff guy, but he's done such a great job in the 3-hole. Why move him?
That one fouled back and out of play.
At the end of the day, it's just that one at-bat as the leadoff guy. I'd rather have everybody comfortable. We've seen the difference in Martin Prado at the plate since he took over in the 2 spot.
5-0 Miami. Adam Conley has gone 7 no-hit innings here in Milwaukee. Dietrich waiting on a 2-2. And he drives it to left and hits it pretty well. Braun goes back at the track, makes the catch. 25-year-old Adam Conley, the sweatshirt off, and back to the mound he goes. 100 pitches in and a no-hitter into the 8th. Pitches in. Adam Conley starts the 8th. Ramon Flores for the Brewers. And a fastball misses out. Conley had 102 pitches. Eduardo, you've been a bench coach. You've managed in international play and in winter ball. What's going through Don Mattingly's mind right now?
He gives up a base hit. He's probably out of the game. In the meantime, you leave him in because he really hasn't had high stressful innings. So that 103 pitches right now, 104 pitches he's thrown. With the weather the way it is in here, it's nice and cool. The heat hasn't gotten to him. You have to trust what Jeff Mathis behind the plate is also relaying to you.
Jose Urena is ready. And so you, as you point out, you've got the sense if he gives up a hit, he's done. But right now, He's not done.
He's not coming out of this bad boy.
Inside corner, 1 out in the 8th inning. And a strikeout of Flores.
Nice pitch right here, inside part of the plate. Dan Bellino right on top of that.
So 1 out in the 8th. First pitch swinging. Colin Walsh fouls it off. Walsh is first at bat of the ball game. He came in a double switch. And the 0-1 is up. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Conley at 25. A second-round Marlins draft pick. He's come up through the system. Debuted last year. A pitch right on the edge.
I thought that was a good one. Dan Bellino's making Conley earn it. He's not giving him anything at all so far tonight. He's had to attack the zone. More of a hitter's umpire.
3-2 in. And you saw Conley's reaction as he turned behind the mound, had his mouth in the glove.
It's not something Don Mattingly wanted right here. A walk. Pitches well in.
Hernan Perez, Juan Nieves, Don Mattingly, Tim Wallach, all of them watching intently.
Well, you know what time it is right here. Time for a pitcher's best friend. Try to get something on the ground, let his defense work for him.
113 pitches. Perez 0 for 1. Walsh the runner at first. And Conley quickly at 0-2. Five no-hitters in Marlins history. Brown, Leiter, Burnett, Sanchez, Alvarez. And a look at Walsh, the 0-2. There's the list. Whether he has enough in the tank or enough on the ball to get these next 5 outs. In the air, right center field. Ozuna makes the catch. 2 outs in the 8th.
I think in the tank he has a lot left. Been keeping everything down. Nothing's been up, and here comes Don Mattingly. Wow, this is a tough one, guys.
Mattingly is coming to the home plate umpire, and with the lineup card in hand, this looks like a double switch. 116 pitches. Martin Prado is there, almost acting like a buffer and explaining it to the lefty.
You hear the boos right now.
And so Conley will exit. And it wasn't just to simply give me the ball. Mattingly had some words for him. Jose Urena comes in for 7 2/3 innings and 116 pitches. Adam Conley has no hit the Brewers. Now Wes Kendall Toyota called to the pen. And we saw the conversation on the mound. It continues in the dugout. Don Mattingly, Adam Conley, 116 pitches.
So you wanted to be a manager. These are the decisions you get. Some aren't easy, and some you just have to be able to protect the future of this young arm and to build his arm strength. He's been averaging 85 to 90 pitches a game. You get into unknown territory, you have to be able to think long term here. A lot of people think, why mess with history? But this is more than history. They'll need that young arm for a long time, not only this season.
And here is Urania. The Marlins on this double switch probably get a little better defensively with Echeverria at shortstop, and it allows Rojas to go over to first base. Jeff Mathis out for a visit. You know, if you take a poll with 30 managers in this spot, you're going to get a variety of opinions throughout baseball.
Well, without a doubt, Joe Madden with Arrieta the other day, he said, I'm not going to get in the way of history. So it all really depends on the philosophy, and there's really not a set number where historically you can say, okay, 110 or 120, that's enough. Each person's built differently, and some have different beliefs, you know, but you have to admire the way he took it, the way he respected, looked at Don Mattingly in the eye, and respected the decision.
Urania pours in a fastball that misses in, and it's 2-1. Wei-Yin Chen.
But if I'm a fan, boy, am I upset. You have to be. I mean, as a fan, you don't know what's going on over there. You're seeing history's about to be made, and you're witnessing it. But there's more to it.
Had he not walked Walsh, had he gone 1-2-3, does that change things for you, or do you think it changes things for the Marlins skipper?
No, I don't think with the move that he just made right there, I don't think it would have changed anything. I did not see him coming out in the 9th inning. You're Don Mattingly. Most likely you were hoping maybe for a base hit instead of a walk. Take the pressure off making that decision.
Domingo Santana at the plate. Urania, of course, was a hero in Los Angeles a couple nights ago. Back to Urania, who boxes it, picks it up, and safe at first. Now, that could probably go either way.
That should be an error. It was a one-hopper. It wasn't hit that hard. Just hit him in the heel.
And you know, you could see everybody in the dugout looking up at the scoreboard. You're right, that's an error.
Yeah, that right there is an error. He would have let it go. It would have been an easy double play with Dietrich, most likely. See, it hits right on the dirt. He should have had that ball easily. It's 2 outs, excuse me. I said double play. It would have been a ground ball easily to the second baseman.
So it is an error. The no-hitter is still intact. The Marlins have never had a tag team no-hitter. All of their no-hitters have been a complete game by one guy. Although Henderson Alvarez was a unique one in that it was a walk-off no-hitter. Alvarez got through 9. The Marlins had not scored a run.
That's the one Giancarlo Stanton scored, right?
That's right.
Wild pitch.
And Alvarez was on deck. They got to celebrate from the on-deck circle that he had thrown a no-hitter. VR pulls it foul, and it's a ball and a strike. So there is still a chance here at a no-hitter. Urania came in a really hot spot the other night. His manager had been ejected. David Phelps had been ejected. And the Dodgers had him loaded with 1 out in a 2-0 game. And it was tight because the 3 pitchers before him had walked 3 different hitters. Only the second time in 100 years that had happened in Major League Baseball. And Urania came in and looked like, hey, no problem. Give me the ball. He got 5 outs and the save. He'll get another shot at a ground ball, and he fields it and gets the out. And for 8 innings, Adam Conley and Jose Urena are throwing a no-hitter. Shot at finishing the no-hitter. 116 pitches. But I'll tell you what, from the very start, you sensed that this was going to be a good night. The tempo was good. The stuff was crisp.
The fastball. It was all about the fastball. He located it on both sides of the plate, and then he could start playing with the guys if he needed that slider. But once you start looking for it, he would attack so hard. I mean, that's what pitching is all about. Juan Nieves has to be so proud of Adam Conley, the way he used that fastball and the way he was able to dominate the hitters.
And at our Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. So the 9th inning has arrived. The Brewers still don't have a hit, and Miami's lead is 5-0. And the guy that has provided all 5 runs is no longer in the game. Miguel Rojas is now at first base. Justin Bour left on a double switch. Bour has 2 homers, a 3-run shot, a solo homer, and an RBI double tonight. Rojas, Jeff Mathis, and then Adeiny Echeverria. 7, 8, 9 in the 9th for Miami. The Brewers in the 9th, just so you know, have Ryan Braun, Jonathan Lucroy, and Chris Carter.
Mama said it wasn't going to be easy.
That's at the letters. And it's 3-1. Stick around, because on Marlins Live post game, we will have not only Jessica Blaylock down on the field, but also clubhouse reaction and Don Mattingly's comments post game as well. And any clubhouse sound on a fascinating night for the Marlins here. Rojas rips one in the gap. That's going to get all the way to the track. It's going to trickle to the wall. Rojas is thinking 3 and holds at 2.
And wisely he held it 2, but hustled all the way there. Nice job right there by Miguel to be able to get on top of this fastball. Had thrown him the same pitch, the previous pitch. Gets on top of it and drives it into the left center gap. No collapse whatsoever. Goforth continues to throw that fastball up in the zone, playing with danger.
Here's Mathis now. Mathis 0 for 3. But of course, you can't discount the contributions a guy like Jeff Mathis makes on a night like this. Pulls it to third. It's kicked. Walsh in time. Jeff Mathis, by the way, who has been in the big leagues for some time, has never caught a no-hitter. And here is Echeverria, his first at bat. Conley.
Both stars of the game right there so far.
Right there. They should just sit there.
The 5 and the 0.
Sit there for a while. You're right.
5 on the left, the 0 on the right. None of them live in Hawaii, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just
but
checking.
I would say there are people here in this building that, where there are a few hits up on the board, might be headed to the exits, or kind of hanging around just to see. Ichiro's on deck. 1-1 to Echeverria. And he fouls it back.
More Fish fans.
Well, Adam Conley, in his short major league career last year and now this season, 116 pitches is a career high.
Career high or not, that has to be a tough decision.
Without question. I mean, and it's almost a no-win situation. If you let him hang in there, say he gets to 120 pitches and gets through the 8th, you have the possibility of a young starter who hasn't been in the big leagues all that long, who's been very healthy in his minor league career, of trying to get a no-hitter and possibly getting into the 130s.
But then you'd also have those that argue and say, well, there weren't really any stressful innings. Yes, he had that 4th inning. The weather is very good here. It's nice and cool. He never really labored. Everything was down in the zone where he wanted it. So you'll have both people arguing, both sides arguing. Yet the final decision comes to that man right there on the screen.
What was it? The father of Ross Stripling, who went to Dave Roberts the next day and very emotionally thanked the Dodger skipper for protecting his son's arm. Walsh across the diamond. Stripling had Tommy John surgery, I want to say 14 months before, so there was that. And you talk about Joe Maddon saying, hey, I'm not messing with it. Terry Collins still second guesses himself for leaving Johan Santana out there. Now, he did get the first no-hitter in Mets history, but
then he was history with his elbow.
Then his arm again gave out after 134 pitches.
I think it was his 11th start back after shoulder surgery. I mean,
so the point is no matter what decision Don Mattingly made tonight, there are going to be people that say it's the right decision, and there are going to be people that say it's the wrong decision.
Well, I think he'll be able to sleep well at night with the decision he made. I mean, no one can tell you if it's a 130 or 120 or 100 limit yet. You have to go on what history has done. And I imagine Conley, maybe in college he threw a lot more, but there's a difference between facing college hitters and big league hitters. More stress is put on the arm, and let's not forget, he was told last season, just give it all you got every pitch. So he's not throwing at 90%. He's throwing at 100% every time. And we saw the velocity go from 94 to an effective 91.
Ground ball, base hit. Ichiro has another hit. Rojas around third. Braun's throw comes all the way to the plate. Miami has their 6th run. Ichiro has his 2nd hit.
55.
55 until 3,000 for Ichiro, who also stole his 500th base tonight.
Oh, 5s all around the board until that run was driven in. Nice piece of hitting again away. Ijar had no chance right there. And Ichiro, look at him hustle the whole way through. Sees the throw goes, might as well keep on going. I really hope he did not check the wall so I can get that brought. Right here tomorrow. Take the special sauce and a little spicy mustard.
Now Prado, who has singles in his last 3 at-bats, and he takes out 3 hits for Prado. Miami has banged out 10 hits. No sign of lack of sleep here tonight. The pitching has been phenomenal. The hitting has been timely. The power provided by Justin Bour.
And a quality day all around. You get your bench players in there to get some at-bats. You rest your stars, your starters. You're able to do that. I mean, Don Mattingly right now couldn't have asked for anything more. The bullpen hasn't been up and down during this game.
Bouncer to short. VR gets the out. There has been 1 no-hitter thrown in the history of Miller Park. Jose Urena will try to complete a tag team no-no. To the 9th, bottom of, we go. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, visit Jeep.com to learn more. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. In Milwaukee tonight, 7 2/3 innings and 116 pitches from Adam Conley. Jose Urena got the last out of the 8th. But to secure a no-hitter, he has to get 3 of the best bats the Brewers have. Ryan Braun takes a strike. Jonathan Lucroy and then Chris Carter. The pitcher spot is due up 4th for the Brewers. The only other no-hitter in this building was not thrown by a Brewer or a Brewers opponent. It was the Cubs against the Astros, and Carlos Zambrano did it in 2008. Braun swings and misses, and it is 1-2. They opened this building in 2001. And he gets him.
It's good action right there.
So 2 outs away. Conley looks at the scoreboard. The man to your left is Juan Nieves. He's the only pitcher in Milwaukee Brewers history to throw a no-hitter. And here he is back in Milwaukee. And the Marlins are 2 outs away from a combined no-hitter. Jonathan Lucroy, not an easy out. Ureña pumps in a fastball for a strike. 5 no-hitters in Miami Marlins history. Kevin Brown, Al Leiter, A.J. Burnett, Anibal Sanchez, and Henderson Alvarez. This would be the first combined.
He's doing it with the fastball, getting out early. That's been the MO all night long, both from Conley and now with Ureña.
Oh, 0-2 to Lucroy. High fastball and a pop-up that's out of play. And of course, all of this comes on one of the most emotional and, quite frankly, disappointing nights in Marlins history, with the suspension of their all-star second baseman Dee Gordon last night in Los Angeles. 0-2. Fastball in. Toyota inside look. In Major League history, of the 293 no-hitters, 11 have been combined. The last by the Phillies in 2014. 1-2 to Lucroy. Soft into right, and it falls for a hit. And the Brewers have their hit, a soft serve single by Jonathan Lucroy.
Getting it right off the end of the bat. Ball was slicing away from Derek Dietrich, and he gave it all he had. Right there, he takes off for it. Watch the angle. Wasn't able to get to it. Tough break.
So that's the hit on a night where there weren't really any amazing plays or diving catches. Here's Carter now. The starting pitching during this win streak has been outstanding. The bullpen has been very, very good as well. And Ureña pounds it in. And we said before the night started that Adam Conley's performance doesn't match his numbers. 4 runs in his last 2 starts were inherited runners that he handed off to the bullpen that scored. Here tonight, nobody scored against Conley.
Completely dominating, being able to hit both sides of the plate, and teammates all around him right now.
Carter's ground ball, diving stop, Prado on his feet. What a play. Martin Prado
have a night.
Can still pick it.
Have a night.
3 hits for Prado, and there's the best play of the night defensively in the game.
Well, you called for it, and you get it right here. Has the presence of mind of just going right after Carter at first base. Watch the reaction right here. Beautiful play.
Alex Presley will pinch hit. The last hope for the Brewers in the bottom of the ninth. Again, stay tuned. Marlins Live will have clubhouse reaction. Jessica Blaylock will host here from Miller Park. We'll have Craig Minervini and Carl Pavano in the studio. Jessica will be in the clubhouse. She'll be on the field live as well, so we'll have full coverage, both studio and here at the ballpark. Up the middle, and the Brewers are going to get a run here. Presley has a hit. And it's 6-1.
The Brewers catch a break right here with Presley coming off the bench and getting himself a pinch hit single.
Here is Flores now, who's 0 for 3. So Urania just trying to finish this thing out. It's a much needed night off for everybody down in the Marlins bullpen.
Don Mattingly does not want to make a call to try to get AJ up.
All 5 of the consecutive wins were tight games. All 5 had saves attached.
This man had one of them because AJ was not available on the 3rd win against the Dodgers.
That one into right field. That's going to fall for a hit. Ichiro into the corner. He'll pick it up. A run will score. Presley comes across. And the Brewers have a couple with 2 outs here of the ninth.
See this pitch, it was a little runner going away from Flores, and he's able to just lob it over right field and hustle into second base. AJ Ramos starting to throw now in the Marlins bullpen, as Juan Nieves is going to have a word with Urania to give Ramos enough time to get loose.
Well, that's the last thing you wanted to see.
Yeah, this is the last thing.
Because for Ramos, all of a sudden, this is not a night off. He has to heat up in the bullpen. Urania, Nieves, Mathis with him.
Tell you what, that N in the back of Urania's jersey bothers me. Love to see the Ñ little hyphen on top of the N. Little symbol. It's a Spanish in me that wants to see it. It's misspelled. It says Urena.
Well, we asked him last year, and he says it's Urania.
Let's put that little thing on top of the N. A little tape on top of it or something.
The strike. Colin Walsh in the ninth. Couple runs here. Jonathan Lucroy's soft single to right broke up the no-hitter. And that's another hit. Yelich picks it up. Walsh stops at first. And the Brewers have cut the lead in half with 2 outs here.
Just tells you how big Ichiro's hit was in the top of the 9th inning. Get a fastball all over the plate, going the other way. Get that extra run. Still have the tying run on deck. I think Don Mattingly has another decision to make right here. If Ramos is ready or not. You have to bring him in here.
And you saw Mattingly yelling to Mathis. And that's it. Urania's coming out. Ramos is coming in. So the Brewers avoid the no-hitter, and then they put 3 on the board. And the Marlins trying to get this thing secured before any more damage happens. A.J. Ramos, Miami's closers, coming in. West Kendall Toyota called to the pen. For A.J. Ramos and an Adam Conley start on Sunday. He got the save in San Francisco. Monday night, right back at it in a 3-2 win. 12 pitches on a Tuesday, right at the knees. He rested on Wednesday, and then last night, as the Marlins finished off the Dodgers in a 4-game sweep, Ramos picked up his 4th save since Sunday. He can pick up his 5th save since Sunday if he can get this last out. 10th appearance. And he'll be facing a familiar face, Kirk Neuenhuis, the former Met. And Ramos misses down low. 6-3, Miami on top. The Brewers have rallied for 3 here in the 9th.
Really important right now. He goes after him. Tying run on deck.
Domingo Santana is the tying run. He's homered twice. Neuenhuis has good power.
He had to get ready in a hurry.
Two-0 pitch misses down low, and Ramos doesn't look comfortable right now.
Now that first pitch, changeup. After that, he's gone fastball, fastball, trying to find the arm slot.
.30 pitch to Neuenhuis, and it's in. So, with 2 outs here in Miller Park, a ballpark that has a history of favoring hitters, the tying run is coming to the plate, something the Marlins was at the very back of their mind about 15 minutes ago.
Without a doubt, and Domingo Santana has had a lot of power in the minor leagues. Power to all fields. Brought him over here. Don't think because he's a leadoff hitter, he's a slap contact type guy.
At the start of the inning, Jose Urena was trying to complete a no-hitter. Adam Conley went 7 2/3. He was taken out after throwing 116 pitches. Urena faced 2 hitters in the 8th. Got that last out and got the first out of the 9th. Gave up a single to Jonathan Lucroy, lost the no-hitter, got the second out. But the Brewers got 3 consecutive hits, a walk to Neuenhuis, and now Santana has a count of 1-0. Got a switch hitter in Jonathan VR on deck. Breaking ball strike. 1-1.
I like it. I like the pitch. He hasn't been able to throw a strike with the fastball, so he went to the first slider of the inning.
One. Another breaking ball and another strike, and it's 1-2 now.
It's right down the middle. Got away with one. See if he starts this one down and away and gets a chase right here from Santana.
Ramos a strike away. Santana waits. 2-2.
Good patience by Domingo right there. Didn't even flinch on it. Very quiet at the plate.
Ramos now, the 2-2. Just missed.
AJ decided to go with the changeup. So he went fastball missing, and then after that, sliders. Went with the changeup. Maybe it's that good time to throw that fastball. Runners will be going.
Full count, 2 outs, 9th inning. Missed and slipped, and they're loaded. And now the tying run is at first base. Tim Wallach, Don Mattingly, Marlins bullpen. No action right now. Ramos does not look comfortable. He has walked Neuenhuis and Santana, and here is VR, the switch hitter, who is 0 for 3 with a walk. And there is action in Miami's bullpen. And the action is because if Ramos can't throw a strike and he walks another hitter, then you absolutely have to get somebody in.
You go from a day where you thought your bullpen was going to be well rested with 2 outs, 1 more out, to now getting 2 more guys up.
Fastball, it's a strike, and it's 1-1.
The concern is the miles per hour. That was an 87-mile-per-hour fastball. Ramos usually 93.
1-1. Changeup pulled foul. And again, he gets the second strike now on what the Marlins are hoping is the final out, which has been so elusive here in the 9th. The Marlins entered Adam Conley and Jose Urena with a no-hitter. And they got an out in the 9th before Lucroy's bloop hit. 1-2 here. Fouled at the plate.
A lot of off-speed pitches by AJ. Not having the feel of the fastball. Put him a breaking ball right there.
Well, the longer the at-bat goes, the more time Morris has to warm up. Bases filled with Brewers. 2 outs. Ramos 1-2.
This is the thing. In order for that changeup to work, you needed to have a fastball set up inside hard. Problem is, AJ doesn't want to go in there because that would be playing into Villar's power if it stays out over the plate.
And a veteran move, Jeff Mathis out to talk to Ramos to maybe calm him down and to give Morris a few more throws to get ready in Miami's bullpen. Boy, from the brink of a no-hitter to the brink of a collapse. The 2-2. He didn't go after the changeup, and now it's 3-2. On deck, the best that the Brewers have is Ryan Braun. Ramos ready. Runners go. He got him! Ball game! Wow! A.J. Ramos with baling wire and duct tape and glue and spit somehow gets that last out. It was not easy.
Not at all. Breaking pitch, decided to pull the string right there with a nice hook. Gets Villar to swing right over the top of it. Great pitch. Look at the emotion.
His 5th save starting on Sunday. And the Marlins have won their 6th in a row. Adam Conley, 7 2/3 of no-hit ball, 116 pitches. Justin Bour drives in 5 with 2 homers and a double. You bet you want to stick around for Marlins Live. We'll have reaction from the clubhouse from Don Mattingly. It's coming up next.